Okay, let's discuss Article 1176. So, the receipt of the principal by the creditor without reservation with respect to the interest shall give rise to the presumption that said interest has been paid. The receipt of later installment of a debt without reservation as to prior installments shall likewise raise the presumption that such installments have been paid. So before we break this down, let's try to understand what a presumption is by seeing the different kinds of presumptions. So there is the conclusive presumption and the disputable or otherwise called rebuttable presumption. So a presumption is just something that is assumed. And there are two types, conclusive, which cannot be disproved, and disputable, which can be disproved. So what does it mean to disprove? It means to prove that it is wrong if you have enough evidence. So an example of a conclusive presumption is if a mother gave birth to a child, then she is 100% the mother because the mother gave birth to the child. So biologically, they're blood related. Now, another one is if a husband of a mother who gave birth does not match the DNA test, then it's possible that the husband is not the father. It could be another man. Okay, so we can break this down into two situations. So let's try to understand it in simple English. So here's the simple English. The first part is situation one. Let's say you paid the principal of a loan. If you did not have a discussion about, oh, I'm paying the interest, then it is assumed that you already paid the interest. And this is rebuttable. Remember, rebuttable means that it can be disputed. If you have evidence that it did not pay interest, then you can prove that you did not. Then situation two is a relevant situation. It says, let's say you're paying a loan in installments. If you didn't discuss prior installments, then it is assumed you've also paid the prior installments. So if you're paying a loan and you did not talk about, oh, I actually didn't pay the prior installments. If you did not have this kind of conversation and it's not aware between, if you did not discuss it between the active subject and the passive subject, then you are assumed to have already paid the previous installments. So here's the general rule of Article 1176 is that a payment for an interest-bearing debt, first it's applied to interest, and then if there's excess, it's applied to principal. So just remember, if you're paying a loan and you're paying in installments, it's always applied to interest first. If you pay an extra, then maybe it's applied to the principal of maybe the future installment. So quiz time. So to make sure that you can actively recall what we just discussed. Article 1176, the receipt of the principal by the creditor without blank with respect to the interest shall give rise to the presumption that said blank. You can pause to check and guess. The correct answer is reservation. The receipt of the principal by the creditor without reservation with respect to the interest shall give rise to the presumption that that interest had been paid. That interest has been paid. Okay. So another one. The receipt of blank of a debt without reservation as to prior installments shall likewise raise the presumption that such blank. You can pause. Okay. The receipt of later installment of a debt without reservation as to prior installments shall likewise raise the presumption that such prior installments have been paid.